Hey guys, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you are here. And if you're so inclined and get the chance, please hit that subscribe button below. Also, if you hit that bell notification icon, it'll help me out with the YouTube algorithm, allegedly make more people aware of my videos, and it'll let you know when I upload new videos and when I go live. I've got something really special to bring to you guys today. Got a couple knives coming up in this series that I get to share with you, and they are due to my local best buddy, A to Z EDC. If you're not following A to Z EDC on Instagram, you should go over and follow him now. He's got some of the coolest knives. Hopefully I'll be able to share some with you. He's the guy that went to Blade Show with me last year. I won't give his real name, but a lot of you met him at Blade Show. He also is the weirdo who pops on my lives sometimes and just doesn't really say much, but wears glasses. Kind of inappropriate. Just a funny dude. But anyway, great guy. A to Z EDC. This knife is his knife, and he was kind enough to let me hang on to it for a little while, experience it, and give you guys a Javon overview, because I haven't been cutting with it, I haven't been hacking with it, but I can tell you I've been loving on it. So I'm going to set this up here so you guys can go sub to A to Z EDC, and I will put him in the description. But what we have here is an Evo 3.0. Custom Knife Factory, M390. His is going to be with a satin blade. Let's just look at it. Damascus collar backspacer. Alright guys, so I got to handle one of these and a 2.0 when I was at Blade Show. I've not taken the plunge. I'm not even going to open it yet because it's the sexiest knife I've ever seen in my life, and I've always thought that. But let's just look at this knife and admire it for a little bit. This is a 3.0. It's got this very nice Damascus backspacer. It's got jimping here. It's got a nice stop pin, external stop pin. I think I've told you guys my favorite deployment hole is shaped kind of like a pear. This one has that. Has a nice swedge up here on the spine. It's got a dark titanium handle with a ZircuTi pivot collar. I don't know if you guys can see that texture there. Very nice milling on this titanium. And that is the satin M390 blade on the Custom Knife Factory, Something Obscene Company, number 178 in this pattern of the Evo 3.0. And guys, this knife, from a how does it make you feel kind of knife. Now I'm a small guy, but I've got a pretty good size hand. This 3.0, when I handled it over at Blade Show, I felt like it was a bigger knife than I would really appreciate. That the 2.0 might be more my speed. I've had this in my pocket. I've carried it. I would be absolutely stoked to come across one of these knives. The access to the lock bar is done very, very well. This forward choil is just a work of refined machining. The chamfering inside this hole, the deployment hole, the way this jimping lines up here on the blade itself, depending on which grip you're holding it in, it gives you just really, really, really strong purchase. I love this. I'm not even going to try to name what type of blade this would be, but it's got this, like I said earlier, this very nice swedge. It's got just what I consider the it factor. Look at the stop pin. Look at how overbuilt this knife is. It's a guillotine. If I wasn't horizontal, it will absolutely cut your finger off. One of the complaints I heard about this knife was that you can get to this blade back here. I don't know if you can see in that. Let me grab my little lamp. But the blade comes a little bit close. I don't know why it flickers under the camera, so we won't make y'all have a seizure. But the blade comes pretty close. Guys, I can tell you, I'm not going to get my finger in there. I'm not going to accidentally. That was something that I was a little concerned about when I'd seen reviewers talk about it. Yes, is it optimal? No, but you know, it is what it is. These are going to be T10s, I think, on the body screws. Not that that really matters, because this is an overbuilt knife in just all the right reasons, all the right ways. Let's see here. Just for the sake of science, T10 body screw, T10 clip screw. That looks like a T20 or T15. I don't have those in my little bit kit, but guys, I can just tell you that the manufacturing, the way this knife feels in hand, the ergonomics of the knife, the way the knife, I'm sure, cuts, and we are going to cut some coupons. A to Z EDC will watch this video and he'll be okay with that. I don't think he'll mind me cutting some paper. As long as I'm not whittling, we'll be good. So as I'm sitting here off camera wrestling with my bits, because I do have OCD and A to Z EDC and ADHD, let me grab my coupon book and let's see how this. Just look how absolutely awesome that blade is. Guys, I know Evos are very hard to come by. They can be had if you're looking for them. They will have them. Meh, they might not have them at Blade Show. But they come up on the secondary. I wouldn't recommend paying totally inflated prices for one on the secondary. However, I would love nothing more than to be in a position and to have the opportunity to get a custom knife factory Sharp.Design Evo. This knife, I know now why it's Lefty EDC's favorite knife, even though his is the 2.0. I've got another banger that I'm going to be reviewing that it's kind of more my speed. But guys, this knife is just done very, very well. It goes in and out of the pocket. It takes a little hand, so I've got to use my hand to get it over the. I'm wearing thick jeans today, so I do have to give it a little help because that's a tie clip. But it's got great retention, which is what I want with a knife like this. Again, this knife is very heavy. Not very heavy. That sounds negative. It weighs like my XM18, like my Medford Midi Marauder. I'm thinking it probably is going to weigh right in there. And there'll be a weight in the description maybe. Let's get some measurements off the blade here. So this blade comes out to right under 4 inches, so probably 3.8 on the length of the blade. The length of the handle comes in right at 4.5 inches. But then the real measurements, the measurement between where this handle comes out and that choil, are 4.25. So that's 4.25 from here to here. So that shows you how much purchase I have. So if we want to see the dimension for this back grip, it is about 3.25. So that is 3.25 That's that larger dimension. And let's look at I'm not going to get the calipers, but we'll look at it this way. I don't want to put calipers on his knife. The blade's around 1/4 inch thick. Comes down to a real sexy hollow grind. It is done so nicely, guys. Again, I've handled this knife. When I say handled it, at Blade Show, you really don't handle a knife. You just kind of do this a couple of times, and then you handle another one, then you walk off, and then you talk to people, and you handle a few more knives. But spending time with this knife, and I'm not talking about weeks, I'm talking about I've been spending about 24 hours with this knife, and I've been not only examining it, but I've been fondling it. I love the way the titanium handles are sculpted. There's absolutely no sharp points on this knife that I feel in my hand. And like I say, it is now officially on the GRAIL list. I'm in no rush to grab one. I know there's a 2.5 coming out that could be just right up my alley. But, you know, there's a lot of positivity and negativity around this knife. A lot of people wait a long time. I hear a lot of people grumbling about it. It's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. And I was one of those people. I was not somebody that was very vocal, but to me, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth going through the hassle of trying to get one. I didn't have the funds. Granted, if I plan for a purchase like this, I could have the funds. It's just a matter of me having some self-control. And this experience that A to Z EDC has made possible in terms of me hanging out with this knife makes me think that I don't really want to borrow that many more of his other knives to bring to you guys, because what it does is it leads to me falling in rabbit holes that I don't really need to be in. But guys, this knife is, in my opinion, the sexiest and one of the, I'm not going to say the best, but I'm going to tell you it's one of the finest specimens that I've ever had the pleasure of having in my hand. Guys, again, I wanted to bring these knives to you, this one and some others that A to Z is going to hook me up with, who hopefully if you guys go to Blade Show this year, he'll be hanging out with me. I'm trying to get him to go back over there. But great channel. Doesn't have a channel on YouTube, but great Instagram. Posts some really cool knives. He's not a photographer per se, but he's a knife lover who shares his passions through Instagram. So check him out. And guys, please, if you're still here and you haven't, please hit the subscribe button. Just for me. Just as a plea. If you don't care about notifications, if you don't care about all that, I get it. But it would help me feel like, you know, that y'all are at least appreciating the content. Most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate before hate. I love you all. Peace.